Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brendan Plays. This is Total Extreme Wrestling. As we head into the month of July here in our save, we have moved on from our recent Fyter Fest pay-per-view, where we had MJF defeating Kenny Omega and Adam Page in the main event for a 74 rated match, a 77 overall show. It was one of our minor shows, and of course our next pay-per-view will be very similar as well, Fight for the Fallen, and that will be another minor show before we get to All Out. So looking forward to it. We had 16,000 people in attendance for Fyter Fest. We should get something similar for Fight for the Fallen. So things are going pretty well for us so far, and we've got a stack of storylines that we're going to be looking to do over the next month or two. Now, I had a look at the roster, and I really realized that, we're not really utilizing a huge portion of them, of the wrestlers that we have. So I've decided to try and change that a little bit and really get a few storylines that are involving a lot more people, even if it's not in depth, even if it's just, sort of matches, singles matches, tag matches, just whatever. Just try and get some guys involved in doing something of some sort of meaning, because we've got Dark, we've got Rampage, and of course we've got Dynamite, so we may as well start utilizing every minute of every show to try and advance something and to try and move a few more people up the card. So for Fight for the Fallen, we've gone a little bit different for the women's division. I saw that Abaddon's really not doing anything at all. We haven't used her much because she's not really great in ring. So we're going to try and hotshot her into the title picture just for the month. Try and put a bit of a spotlight on her, make her look strong heading into the women's match, and give her a match against Britt Baker to try and highlight her and maybe try and get a bit of momentum happening, a bit of popularity. It will be a hot shot, and it's a way to get Britt Baker another win before we eventually get to who we want her to face at All Out, which probably will be Jade Cargill at this point. So yeah, hot-shotting Abaddon. We're going to do the rematch, MJF and Adam Page one-on-one this time. We're going to shift gears with the Jericho and Guevara storyline. So obviously, what's happened is that Sammy Guevara was furious that he lost his match against Cody Rhodes. Chris Jericho was trying to console him. Well, Sammy Guevara shrugged Chris Jericho down. Now Sammy Guevara wants a match against Chris Jericho, and he wants to prove that he's a main event guy by beating the top dog in the Inner Circle. It's not going to be a split, it's not going to be a breakup, it's just kind of like, two guys in the group just have to figure out a personal difference. We're going to do Cody Rhodes and Christian Cage one-on-one. This will be a legitimate number one contenders match for All Out, so that should be a big one. FTR and Jurassic Express, probably similar in a way, potentially a number one contenders match, but two of the top tag teams going at it. These two teams haven't faced each other yet, so I figured that'd be a strong matchup. And Jurassic Express are right on the verge of breaking out as one of the best teams we've got, so they're very, very close. Malachi Black, obviously he's just come in, and now he'll be taking on Park. Bit of work to do with this storyline because we didn't do a lot with the Park storyline to begin with. Now we have to try and turn it around a little bit with Malachi Black officially being a part of the roster. Miro and Jake Hager are not doing a lot each, so I figured putting those two guys together for a match would probably work out pretty well. Team Taz are going to take on the Wild Things, so Moxley and Eddie Kingston, they're officially a team in our save, so now we're going to start utilizing them. We figured Ricky Starks and Brian Cage would be great starting points for them. Both teams trying to enter the tag team division in hopes of being, the number one contender at some point, so both have a similar purpose, similar goal. The Factory, we're going to have them take on the Gun Club. So the Gun Club are affiliated with the Nightmare family, so it is, it does work. Billy Gunn's about to retire, so I figure we could have the Factory defeat Billy Gunn, get a bit of popularity out of him, and try and move them up the card a little bit. We still have the Wingmen and Varsity Blonde storyline going, the same with the Young Bucks and the Hardys. So the Young Bucks have officially turned heel, so now we'll have heel Bucks versus the Hardys. That should work out pretty well. And this is where I was talking about before, including a lot more people into a storyline. So we have, I think 5 or 6 teams in this storyline here. So basically it's turmoil in the tag team division. Lots of teams trying to get wins, trying to move up the card. So basically we're going to have a series of tag team matches over the next couple of months just to get some teams some wins. It won't be anything official, but just to include some guys in the tag team division. We're starting a women's tag team, not a division, but we have 3 women's tag teams, and we're going to start putting them together to determine who is the best women's tag team. I have been trying to get a 4th women's tag team, and I just can't find one. The only option I had, I thought would work well, was Riho and Yuka Sakazaki, but we can't get Yuka back. She was unhappy when we fired her or we let her go last time, and she will not negotiate with us. She does not want to come back to AEW, so we can't bring her in. So I'm at a bit of a standstill. I don't know what other combination I could really do. I'll have to try and figure that out. And speaking of the women, we have another women's storyline. We're going to do a triple threat match. Jade, Chris Statlander, Thunder Rosa all battling out triple threat to determine the next contender for Britt Baker's championship after Fight for the Fallen. So, yep, lots of storylines, lots of new things happening, but that's the way it goes after pay-per-view. Some of these things will be prominent, some of these things will just be on Dark, maybe a potential Dynamite appearance here and there, but this will set up our next TV for the next couple of months, so I'm looking forward to it. One decision to kind of get to, and I really wanted to spotlight this because I've never come across this before in TEW, but Warlord got himself into a bit of trouble here. So Warlord has become involved in a social media storm after a conversation was leaked where he engaged in some banter with a fan who has since been revealed to only be 12 years old. Oh boy. Some people have accused him of bullying. There is some pressure on AEW to react. So this is really interesting. I've never come across this before. So we can ignore it. So we can just let it blow over. We can support Wardlow and back him up. Probably not a good idea. We could publicly attack the critics of Wardlow. Again, probably not a good idea because Wardlow did kind of stuff up a little bit here. We could distance ourselves from the controversy to protect our image, leaving Wardlow to defend himself. Honestly, that may be the better option. We could publicly discipline Wardlow with a 1-month suspension to appease the online mob, or we could release Wardlow. Now, we're not going to release him, that's for sure. A 1-month suspension seems a little bit excessive. I think you could do some sort of, online media training, say an apology, that sort of thing. That would kind of work, but a 1-month suspension, I don't know. Distancing ourselves, just kind of saying, yeah, you look, that's Wardlow, he did that on his own sort of thing, may work. Ignoring it, that's a risk, but definitely supporting him would not be good. And attacking the critics of Wardlow, I don't think would be good either. So I am going to go with the distance ourselves. Let's just try and protect our own image. Wardlow, look, he did that to himself, and let's see what happens. Wardlow is annoyed at the handling of the situation. Yeah, I expected that. So I don't know if there's any fallout from that, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. And Tay Conti, we're looking to re-sign her, so her contract was up, and we're going to try and keep her locked in for an extra couple of years as well. And that's really all that's been going on, other than the fact that Shaquille O'Neal, his contract is officially done. He's gone. And of course, the big news that happened as I record this, was Bray Wyatt. He has been officially released from the WWE. 81 popularity. I've given him an extra 2 weeks before he'll eventually be gone. But actually, Bray Wyatt, he's the WWE champion in this save. He's won 21 matches, 0 losses this year. And throughout the entire save, 52 wins, 6 losses. He's their most protected guy in the company. He's their most pushed guy. He's got 81 popularity. When the save began, I think it was low 70s maybe. He has been on fire. They have pushed him to the moon. I'm guessing he's been champion, since December last year. So he's had 8 championship defenses. He's been their man, and now we're going to match what's happening in real life. Well, he's going to get released. In this world, in this TW land, he would not be going anywhere. The thing is, we're too small. Bray Wyatt says, look, I'm too big for you guys. I've got 81 popularity. I'm not going to go to AEW. I'm not going to negotiate with you guys. So we can't even get Bray Wyatt if we wanted to. So I have to make the decision, do we let Bray Wyatt stay and don't even worry about trying to get him, because we can't anyways, and honestly, I don't know if I would bring him in. And he's not going to go to the smaller promotions, so it doesn't really help any of the smaller ones out either. So at this stage, I don't know. And obviously, Dan O'Brien and CM Punk, those potential guys are going to be coming in anyways. does a Bray Wyatt fit with our roster? I don't think so. But there's something to think about anyways. But let's go ahead and jump into this week's AEW Dark. And we got a lot of storylines, as I said, to try and look at. So we might as well start trying to get them done now. Alright, let's get into the results for AEW Dark. On the pre-show, Cesar Bononi took on Griff Garrison. No chemistry between these two. 23 rated match. Obviously advancing this storyline. Cesar Bononi picked up the win thanks to Ryan Nemeth getting himself involved and getting him the victory. We had an angle with the Dark Order. They were hyping themselves up and saying that their future is bright. 31 for that segment. The Initiative was defeated by the Factory in a 30 rated match. Nick Comoroto, 7 rated in-ring performance. Oh my god, that's terrible. Peter Avalon 38, Brandon Cutler 30. Man, yeah, that's really not good. It's really, really not good. We are looking to turn Peter Avalon as a heel once again. I think Brandon Cutler as well. Both going to go heel and disband. So we're going to probably put Peter Avalon with the Wingmen and then Brandon Cutler with the Young Bucks as their stooge. So happy for this team to take a loss here, but the Factory, my god, that was, yeah, not good. Abaddon, speaking of not good, she defeated Julia Hart in an 8 rated match. Wow. Abaddon 28, Julia Hart 11, so it wasn't Abaddon's fault. It was a 5-minute squash. But yeah, this is not going well. 35 rated promo from the Acclaim. They actually did a rap about the tag team division, so they were talking some trash about some of the other members of the tag team division. And we open up the main show of this week's episode of Dark with Jade Cargill in the ring demanding the next title shot. Thunder Rosa and Chris Statlander interrupted, and they argued about who deserves to be next in line. This is better, 44 for that one as we start this new storyline. The Hybrid 2 defeated SCU in a 52 rated match. So it's a rare win for the Hybrid 2, but obviously SCU, we are looking to wind them down with Christopher Daniels about to retire. So unfortunately that means that Frankie Kazarian is going to take a few L's, Daniels is going to start losing more, and teams like the Hybrid 2 that are really struggling and need a win to get their popularity moving a little bit, they can capitalize off that and they grab a win here in this one. We had a segment with the Factory as Billy Gunn and Dustin Rhodes confronted QT Marshall about what he said and what their plans are at Fyter Fest. And we kick off the rivalry between these two budding groups, 36 for this one. So this is better. Obviously, Nick Comoroto and Anthony Ogogo and Aaron Solo involved here. So better that they didn't do a lot in this segment, but still hopefully boosted up their popularity a little bit. Anna Jay took on Brandy Rhodes in a 39 rated match. Pretty good, actually, as we start moving along this women's tag team storyline. Brandy Rhodes 42, Anna Jay 29. So pretty good stuff, actually. Brandy Rhodes picked up the win. The Bunny got herself involved in this one and distracted Anna Jay to cost her the match. So obviously a 3-way team storyline, and we kind of get the third team involved that way. Alright, and then we have this Super Elite. They're shown beating down the Hardys backstage. So the Young Bucks, they're attacking the Hardys. Gallows and Anderson, Kenny Omega all there as well. Don Callis watching on. So yeah, the numbers game is starting to catch up with the Hardys here as they get beaten down, and we kind of kick off this rivalry now that the Young Bucks are heels. Could have done this on Dynamite or Rampage, and I probably should have, but I wanted to get this, really going because I figured we don't have a lot of time, and potentially, we could use a segment on the other shows, but this one could easily slot in to this show, and it would still fit. We had FTR. They had a promo in the ring, and they say that they deserve more respect for how great they are. So Sean Spears and Tully Blanchard there as well. So this is kind of the starting of the storyline between FTR and the Jurassic Express. So Jurassic Express have been on the rise, they're doing really well. FTR haven't done a lot lately, and they're still talking about how great they are. Well, it might be time they start to try and prove it. So Dax Harwood, we're going to change his gimmick. So he currently has a traditionalist gimmick, but it's rated as poor. So we're basically giving him the same gimmick, but just a different name. It's called a wrestling throwback as his new gimmick, and we're hoping that it goes from being poor to maybe good or average at least, to try and, obviously you don't want to have one of your top guys with a poor gimmick. So we'll change it, and it got a rated of poor as well. Yeah, so not a good start there for another new gimmick for Dax Harwood, of poor. Main event was Brian Cage and Kip Sabian in a 55 rated match. We have introduced the FTW Championship into AEW finally. I actually thought we had it originally, but we've never had it. So I've decided to make it a genuine championship. Not really a genuine championship, but something that Brian Cage can carry. Maybe we'll have it change hands. It's on AEW TV. We might as well bring it into our game. So a 60 rated performance from Cage, 39 from Kip, 55 match, pretty good, and a title defense for Brian Cage. And post-match, Ricky Starks, Taz, and Brian Cage, they say that the FTW Championship will be defended regularly to all comers, and they also want to be tag team champions as well. They want all the gold. So there you go, 60 rated for that promo, and that kind of kicks off the Team Taz and Wild Things storyline, and we'll get to that down the line. Overall, 57 rated show. We did have plenty of things moving along in the storyline and beginning. So we're trying to capitalize on every minute of our shows and really make sure we cover a lot more ground rather than just having some meaningless stuff. Let's try and make sure we've got a storyline happening with everything. Every match needs to have some sort of meaning. That's what we're trying to work towards. Alright, Dynamite is booked. Let's get straight into it. And Shawn Spears took on Shawn Dean on the pre-show 16 rated match. Just a way to get Shawn Spears an easy win. We had Mel and the Bunny talking some tactics as they try and get to know each other a little bit better as well. 34 is obviously one of the brand new tag teams in the division, trying to build a bit of chemistry. Serena Deeb defeated Leva Bates again, so we had a rematch from their one that they had on the pre-show Fighter Fest. Serena Deeb picked up the win again. We're really struggling with obviously the women's division. We're just lacking some people to really put with, and have some unique matches without really losing some of the people that we want to remain strong. So we're in a bit of a tricky situation. We're still going to turn Serena Deeb heel. It's not going to go well, but I think it just needs to happen for the sake of the division. Julia Hart is with Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. So the Varsity Blondes challenge the Wingmen to a tag team match. So they're sick and tired of the singles and all the stuffing around. They want to get it over and done with. They want the two teams to fight it out. 33 rated segments, so pretty good stuff. Luther was beaten by Wheeler Yuta, so a way to get Wheeler a win. He won't probably get too many of them, so it's a chance for him to get a win over Luther, who is just getting ready to finish up here in AEW, thank God. We had a promo with Hikaru Shida as she promos on her status in AEW, so kind of where she's at in the division. So I was kind of looking at who's hot, who's not in our division, and Shida is white hot apparently. So, we've got a lot of momentum with her. I think it's time we maybe try and capitalize on that a little bit more, give her another feud happening. Maybe we could put her in the tag team division with Riho. I just kind of didn't want Shida in the tag division just yet. Or, not a division, but you know what I mean, that tag team storyline. But I'm kind of hesitant to do that, but maybe that's something we could do just to get something happening. And we had a Lance Archer and Jake Roberts promo for 69. Wow, really good. So we still don't have much happening with Lance Archer, but I'm trying to at least get him something, at least a segment here and there, just to keep him relevant. We opened up the show with Hangman Adam Page out in the middle of the ring, and he demanded that MJF stop avoiding him, stop ducking him, and let this match happen one-on-one. So the Pinnacle came out to the center of the ring with MJF having all his boys with him, and Adam Page was not going to back down from a fight. MJF said, look, here I am. I'm not avoiding you. I'm right here, right in front of you. So Adam Page dropped the mic and threw hands, and in the end, Adam Page did get beaten down. Too many guys to try and fight for Adam Page, but he was willing to fight them all in a 99 rated segment. Really, really positive there. So I'm very pleased with that. We were able to kind of start off this Adam Page and MJF storyline with such a bang, which is really great. Christian Cage defeated Orange Cassidy in 15 minutes, 62 rated match. Christian 73, Cassidy 59. This is a way to try and pretty much solidify Christian as the #1 ranked wrestler in AEW. Cody Rhodes interrupted and he said he wants to take that spot from him. So Cody's desperate to try and move up the ranks to get himself a title shot. Christian's standing in the way of that, and these two are going to battle it out to determine the next contender for the World Championship. 98 rated segment, so 2 back-to-back really strong promos here to kick off Dynamite. We had the Super Elite. They took on the Dark Order in a 56 rated match. Anderson, Gallows, and the Young Bucks taking on Reynolds, Silver, Evil Uno, and Stu Grayson. So not a bad match. I mean, considering who was involved, maybe expected a little bit more with the Young Bucks involved, but obviously having the Dark Order, they're not as good in terms of popularity, so there's always going to be a bit of a difficult scenario for them. But still, 56 is not too bad. Post-match, obviously the Elite won. The Young Bucks refused to comment about their attack on the Hardys, so they're not giving anything away yet as to why they did what they did to the Hardy Boys. Christopher Daniels was beaten by Ricky Starks in a 53 rated match. Daniels 52, Starks 47. So obviously we are winding Christopher Daniels down, and this is part of that, having him take a loss to Ricky Starks to try and put over Ricky as a potential star of the future. Mark Henry discussed Will Hobbs' loss to Christian, kind of giving a bit of a pep talk, saying, look, it's all good, we're going to lose to some of these guys. He's been a veteran, he's been around for ages, it's okay. We're going to move on to the next one. So 55 for that one. We had the Death Triangle take on the Nightmare Family. So Penta teamed up with Ray Phoenix and Park to take on the Gun, pretty much all the Guns, the Gun Club. Yeah, they are the Nightmare Family, I guess, because obviously they're a part of that, but more of the Gun Club here. 53 rated. Penta 66, Phoenix 70, Park, wow, 82. The other side of the ring, not so good. Colton Gunn 17, Austin Gunn 26, Billy Gunn 41. Yeah, not great, not too great. But it does kick off the Gun Club and Factory storyline because Aaron Solo, Nick Comoroto distracted the Guns to help them pick up the win. QT Marshall was ringside as well. Colton Gunn's really not good. He's really bad. And Austin Gunn is not much better. So it's always going to be a difficult scenario to have a good match here. But it did serve a purpose in the end of advancing the Factory and the Gun Club storyline. And obviously Death Triangle get a chance to get a match together and pick up a win. Post-match, the lights go out. Malachi Black appears and hits a roundhouse kick on Penta and Phoenix. But Park manages to get out of there. So 70 rated segment here. So good stuff. Obviously the storyline's got some low heat at the moment, so we need some positive segments, and this is definitely a step in the right direction. In Sting's office, Miro demanded some more opportunities from Sting. He said, look, I've been here for a while now. I've been TNT champion. I haven't had much of a chance lately. Jake Hager, he interrupts and says, look, what about me? I haven't had a lot happening for me either. And Sting decides, you know what, why don't you two just fight each other? And whoever wins can get some future opportunities from there. So that kind of sets up a Miro and Jake Hager feud there. And utilizing Sting as well. We haven't used him too much in the managerial role because I didn't want to overkill it and make it a bit too easy. But this is one where I feel like it was appropriate. We had Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela. They were defeated by Jurassic Express. And oh no, Luchasaurus sustained a damaged Achilles tendon. Oh no. Oh no. This is not good. Let's hope that's only a minor. I don't think it's going to be though. Luchasaurus 65, Jungle Boy 53, Janela 43, and Sonny Kiss 25. Yeah, okay. Well, let's see how this injury plays out here. But post-match is what we're really focused on. So Luchasaurus sustained a damaged Achilles tendon, and some of the show will need to be rebooked as a result. Oh boy. So what basically happened was we're having FTR basically watching Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy on the monitor, but obviously I think Luchasaurus' injury is very severe here, so this might not be good. So we'll have a segment here where basically FTR were commenting about how, good or bad, the Jurassic Express were. So very, very interesting. So that segment got a 55 rated in the end. Wow, Jurassic Express were getting huge push. Now that Luchasaurus is down, it might have to be a Jungle Boy singles push. Chris Jericho says he will address Sammy Guevara in the ring on Rampage. Wow, only a 68 rated promo. That is really bad for Chris Jericho. That is interesting. Okay. And our main event, the Wild Things, make their, main event debut. I think it might be their tag team debut. I'm not 100% sure. But anyways, they're in the main event against the Hybrid 2. Moxley, 83. Kingston, 57. Evans and Angelico of the Hybrid 2, 51 apiece. And we had Taz and Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, all ready to jump in there and strike as they take down and beat down the Wild Things in the ring for 64. So obviously the storyline is FTW, they're trying to get themselves in the title picture. The Wild Things are starting to get themselves in the title picture. Well, FTW trying their best to get the Wild Things out of the way. They're a little bit worried that they're going to take their opportunity away from them. So they're trying to shut that down immediately. And 64 for that one. So a bit of a poor finish. A great start, poor finish. We didn't have a lot of good matches. We still managed a 73 rated show, thankfully because of all the great promos that we had on this show. But obviously, the injury of Luchasaurus puts a bit of a dampener on it. 5,500 people attended as well. Alright, the results for AEW Dynamite. We had 872,000 viewers watching on, as we said, 73 rated. NXT, 75 rated, 5,000 people attended, 750,000 viewers. Over 2 million if you count all the WWE Network subscribers. So, very, very interesting indeed. Let's take a look at the Luchasaurus injury. I'm not confident, and he will be out for 2 months. Okay, that's not too bad. That's considering, we had Darby Allin. He got injured and damaged his cruciate ligament. He was out for 6 months. He's back in 2 months. Now Luchasaurus will be back in 2 months as well. So we can't do any surgery as well. So, yep, it's just going to have to be how it's going to be. So unfortunately, it looks like we might have to nix the FTR and Jurassic Express storyline, which is a shame because obviously I thought that was going to be a really, really good match. Jungle Boy, on the other hand, maybe a small short-term push as a solo act might be the way to go. I'm not sure who we could face just yet. I'm sure we can think of somebody. Maybe Lance Archer, maybe a Jake Hager, a Miro. Maybe we can throw him into that mix there. But certainly will change plans for us, unfortunately. But look, that's just the way it goes sometimes. Alright, let's get into the results of Rampage. On the pre-show, Bear Country was defeated by the Factory. Bad match again, 15 rated, but we are still going to stick with the Factory, trying to push them a little bit, beating some of the lower tag teams. We had Brandy, Rhodes and Red Velvet cutting a promo on their rivals in the tag division. 45, pretty good. We opened up the show, 100 rated segment. Chris Jericho says that Sammy Guevara is like a son to him and he's disappointed but understands why he did what he did. 100 rated, excellent stuff, and really, really good way to kind of get this show underway. We had FTR out in the middle of the ring mocking Jungle Boy, saying that Marco Stunt will be a great replacement for Luchasaurus, and they'll be happy, more than happy, to fight them now. 59 rated for that one. We had Jungle Boy in a match. We'll have to get back to that. We've accidentally clicked through it, but we'll come back to that in a second. Britt Baker says she's run out of opponents. Abaddon appears out of nowhere and scares Britt Baker. 48, wow. That's actually pretty good. So that's a good start. Maybe that'll get Abaddon a bit of popularity, I hope. Miro took on Ortiz for a 69. Wow, that's a pretty good match. 69 rated match. Of course, Jake Hager ringside, and then it helps elevate and begin that Jake Hager and Miro storyline. 69, that's pretty good. And our main event was only 69 rated. We had the Super Elite teaming up, this time Kenny Omega teaming up with the Young Bucks to take on SCU. As SCU took the fall, of course, the Super Elite pick up the win. As we're just trying to really put over this tag team. We're trying to get them some wins, trying to show how great and dominant they are. Starting to run through some of the other tag teams into the division. Post-match, though, here's where it gets a little bit interesting. The Super Elite, they get on the mic, they talk about how unstoppable they are. Well, the Hardy Boys, they challenge the Young Bucks to a match, and they don't want any interferences, no interference, no Anderson, no Gallows, no Kenny Omega, no Don Callis. They want it to be a fair and square, straight up match. So I'm thinking maybe we might put this in a cage or something gimmicky just to give it a little bit of extra boost to the match. 90 rated segment, so that's a great way to boost up that storyline as well. And it gives us a 73 rated edition of Rampage. Wow, pretty good. Alright, just quickly, we had Jungle Boy and Anthony Bowens. They had a 54 rated match. Jungle Boy 61, Bowens 30. So good signs for Jungle Boy as a solo act. A nice win there for him. So no Luchasaurus. It's time to kind of help Jungle Boy a little bit. Wardlow, we've seen the fallout here. So Wardlow remains under an online siege with the social media storm that he has found himself in now becoming more intense after the story was picked up by several media outlets and social commentators. The argument between the warring sides continues to become more nasty by the day, even though Wardlow himself is mostly absent. Wow, okay, so that is not good. Not good at all. I don't know if that's going to affect his popularity. I'm not sure that it has any real effect. He's got 59 for the most part. That's pretty much the same, maybe a small increase of anything because of the MJF stuff, but looks to be okay. There's a potential that maybe fans will be turned off seeing him on TV potentially. I don't know, but I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem, I hope. Well, we actually have an incident to deal with. So yeah, we talked about it. Yeah, so we already had to deal with this. I guess we'll have to maybe try and... Well, Wardlow was pretty disappointed that we didn't support him. And I don't want to lose Wardlow. So I'm going to have to support him and just say, look, it was a mistake. He didn't know. Let's go with Wardlow and support him here. And Wardlow is pleased that we've supported him. So Paul Heyman, his contract is up. WWE have offered him a pretty good deal. I was just going to see if I could push them to sign him for even more money. But yeah, I'm not going to go too seriously with Paul Heyman, even though he'd be amazing to have. We don't need him. We've got plenty of guys here. But yeah, so Wardlow in a bit of trouble. Luther, his contract is ending. Thank God. See you later. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. And Chris Parks, aka Abyss, his contract is ending. Yeah, I would like to see an Abyss wrestle at some point in the last few years, but he just hasn't made it happen. I don't think there's any value in bringing him in into our company anyways. One last little piece of news I want to get to. I had a quick look. Ricky Starks, after defeating Christopher Daniels, has jumped up in popularity. He had high 30s, low 40s in the Southeast. Now he's got 46 in the Southeast and 42 across the board thereabouts in every other area. So Ricky Starks, I think we have finally got him out of the 30s of doom and now into the 40s. Thank goodness we can start to really push him more as a singles act. Oh, man, we have been working very, very hard to get Ricky Starks over, and looks like our hard work has finally paid off, and now we can have he and Brian Cage team up a little bit more with Eddie Kingston, who hopefully we can push everyone into the 50s through this storyline, or very close anyways. I'm sure we'll get Kingston there, but Ricky Starks, a little bit more work to be done, but definitely believe that match between FTW and the Wild Things could be much, much better now because of it, so looking forward to it. Alright, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, more to come in the next few weeks. Fight for the Fallen 3 weeks away. Thank you for watching this edition of Total Extreme Wrestling. If you enjoyed it, leave a like on it and subscribe to see more in the very near future. Thanks, guys.